Welcome to Cheat Code Nutrition, the podcast where science meets strategy to help you decode your body and unlock next level health. I'm your host, Ellie Young, functional nutrition practitioner and genetic testing nerd, here to guide you through the real root causes of fatigue, stubborn weight, hormonal chaos, and mystery symptoms the traditional system shrugs off. Whether you're optimizing for longevity, performance, or just want to feel like yourself again, you're in the right place. Around here, we don't guess, we test. We use functional lab work, genetic nutrition, and a no BS approach to precision wellness that works with your body, not against it. If you're ready to ditch the one size fits all protocols and start working with your actual blueprint, this is your cheat code. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Cheat Code Nutrition. It's Ellie, and I am coming at you right after Labor Day weekend. Summer is officially over, everybody. And for a lot of people, that's sad. For me, I'm pretty excited. I love fall and I love getting back into a routine. But the beginning of my kind of coming out of summer and into fall, I really needed like a physical reset in my space. And I did that when the kids went back to school. I really rearranged my office and I needed to clean and declutter for like the first 2 weeks. Now I'm ready for that physical reset, the mind, the body. And I hope you are feeling that way too. I know so many people, when I'm talking about everything I do in the summer, they're like, I can't start anything around my health in the summer. I've got too much going on. I've got too much travel, too many events, this, that, and the other thing. And I get it. Summer is just a buffet of fun opportunities that unfortunately do take a toll on our health, whether that is the food, the alcohol, whether that is the staying up late, the travel, all in, it we are really just exposing ourselves to a lot more toxins in the summer. And, we just happen to live in a toxic world. I'm not saying you can't live your life. I'm just saying at times we need to course correct, do a little bit of a reset, and see if we start to feel a little bit better. And so that's what today's podcast is about, is I want to give you my go-to 3-step fall reset. When I know that I've kind of my pendulum has swung the other way and I've kind of started to dip back into this kind of set point where my body likes to go as far as snacks and treats and staying up later and sleeping in later and kind of that set point of debauchery, summertime debauchery. I know I need to like pull it back in and I start feeling better. My skin starts looking better. I start sleeping better, all of these things. And so that's what I want to inspire you, because I know a lot of times when we go into something like a reset or a cleanse, it's associated with lots of stress and pressure and intensity that, like, oh my gosh, this has to be so hard and this is going to suck. And I really want to steer you away from that energy, that this has to be some type of depriving, mindset. I want it to be something you can do consistently, because change doesn't happen just because of these 3-day cleanses or these periodic moments where you're extra motivated and you're like, I'm going to work out all the time and I'm going to stop eating carbs and I'm going to do all these things. It has to be, change has to happen incrementally, slowly, consistently over time. And so my reset that I'm going to put together for you today is something you can literally start today, baby stepping your way into it. And I'm going to shift your focus. The focus isn't about like, how quickly and immediately can I lose weight and get skinny again? How can I stop? It is about being less bloated, because we are going to start with the gut. The gut is where literally everything starts. And so, but I'm going to shift your mentality around it for what we are actually focusing on. Yes, we are focusing on gut health. That's the first one. Number 2, we're going to be focusing on inflammation. How do we calm inflammation in our body? That's usually starting in the gut, the inflammation, but it starts to spread all over our bodies, right? Even if we're working out all the time, we are highly inflamed. And so I'm going to be teaching you how to calm that inflammation. And last but not least, instead of trying to start some new crazy workout, I just want to get you walking. I know that's something you've heard of before. It's not a very novel concept, but it is something that's like underrated. And we just kind of, we don't think like, oh yeah, I walk. But like if you actually start making it a really intentional part of your day and something you commit to, you can see big, big changes again over time with consistency. So let's dive in here. Basically, summer's been pretty hard on us. Let's get real. It's all about fun and freedom, but it can also leave you feeling bloated, sluggish, inflamed, and a little off track. And so this is the window. This is the window to reset. The kids are back in school. You have this window of time before the holiday rush starts and all these events start, and you start saying, I can't because I have all these things. This is your window to really prioritize yourself, prioritize a strategy to actually let this be your fall health reset. Okay. And I'm going to mention it a couple times throughout this podcast, but one of the things that really helps you hone in and develop an approach that's going to work for you is genetic testing. Because again, you're not going to follow some protocol that's not built for you. We're going to know exactly how your genes are built, what nutrition deficiencies you might have, where you need support, how you should be working out, how you should be supporting yourself, recovering. It really does just bring into sharp focus what's best for you. But let's talk about the gut because summer is super tough on the gut. Travel, alcohol, sugar, inconsistent eating. That was me. Toxins. Unfortunately, we expose ourselves to a lot more toxins in the summer. And this shows up in our gut. We start getting gut dysfunction and it goes beyond digestion. A lot of times people are seeing these symptoms pop up downstream, like skin issues, sleep issues, mood, being in a funk, having brain fog, having autoimmune flares. That's me too. And so maybe your gut seems fine. You're like, oh, I don't think I have any gut issues, but you're having these other symptoms and not recognizing that it could be starting in the gut. So I actually recommend getting a gut panel once a year, but these can be pricey. I'm in the process of trying to find more direct to consumer affordable options. I have ordered the Thorn option. It's a wipe instead of actually like pooping in a cup. You just wipe and then send that sample in. So stay tuned as I see if I like that data, but it definitely is more comprehensive. Not as comprehensive as a full GI map, but it's a fraction of the cost and it might be sufficient to help you give you data about, hey, how do I best treat this gut dysbiosis or gut imbalance that we have got going on? But even if you don't want to do a test, again, I highly recommend it, something that everybody should be doing like at least once a year. But if you don't, you could still follow this 5R gut protocol. It's basically the 5 R's of how to kind of heal your gut. It starts with removing the triggering foods, the toxins, the pathogens, right? So, how do we know what that is? Well, ding, ding, ding. The first big one, alcohol. It's one of the most inflammatory things to the gut. It's creating that leaky gut. So, stop drinking, take a break. If you need help with that, DM me. That's my original role as a coach was an alcohol-free life coach. And it's definitely something I can coach you through the cravings, managing the mindset of, this big shift in a relationship to alcohol. But it's 100% necessary to help you heal your gut because alcohol just kind of destroys that gut lining. But might also mean removing some triggering foods. And again, don't see this as something you have to do long term, but removing things like gluten or dairy could help to kind of give your gut and your immune system a little bit of a break so that things can calm down in there and heal. And then after we've removed as many triggers and inflammatory things, we can go into that's also including like processed foods, lots of sugar, lots of starchy carbohydrates. And then next, we want to replace that's the second R some digestive support, things like enzymes, things like acids. Sometimes these get off. We're not producing enough of these enzymes. Maybe we have too much acid. Maybe we have too little acid. So these are things I all work on my clients with to help you kind of get to the root of any sort of GI discomfort that you're having. So that's the second one, replace. Then we re-inoculate or repopulate. This is where we start to try to build back the good gut bacteria that might have become imbalanced in there throughout our summer partying, right? So we want to focus on things like probiotics, fermented foods, the kimchi, the miso, the uh, kefir, things like that. In addition, we want to make sure we are also feeding that good gut bacteria with lots of fiber. That is your prebiotic fiber. And that's what's going to help, again, feed those probiotics so that they stay healthy in there. I also love to talk about probiotics with my clients like you're building a soccer team in your gut. A lot of people think, I take a probiotic, and they might even take a very awesome, super expensive one that has to be refrigerated. And they think, oh, it's in the billions. I know I'm doing a good job with my probiotic. But a lot of times, you need more diversity in your gut population. Taking a probiotic is great, but you're taking the same kind of group of bacteria every single day. You need to create more diversity, and you do that by eating lots of different fermented foods. Um, or if you are suffering from a particular GI issue, maybe it's diarrhea, maybe it's bloating, maybe it's an autoimmune type of thing, right? There are very specific probiotics that are designed for that issue. So it's like you're building a soccer team, and maybe you have stacked your team with a bunch of defenders, and you actually need like a striker. That's the type of probiotic you need to come in there to actually help with whatever condition you have. And so again, this is something I work on with my clients, is using a very specific probiotic that might help rebalance your soccer team of your microbiome, right? We don't want to have too many of one thing and not enough of the other. We want a diverse, like probiotic team of talents in your gut that do different things, right? Next, we want to repair. So the fourth R is repair. So a lot of times our gut has become leaky, it's damaged, it's porous. Things are sneaking through that shouldn't and inflaming us. And so that's why we want to help rebuild that gut lining with things like L-glutamine, zinc, carnosine, collagen, colostrum. There are so many different things we can do here, but it's really an order of operations that's super important here. A lot of people just take these things kind of willy-nilly, but it's a lot better if you do like a strategic approach of first removing all the bad things, replacing some of that digestive support, re-inoculating with the good gut bacteria, and then we start to repair the lining and start to heal it, right? And lastly, the last R is rebalance. This is really important because it's really hard to heal our gut when we have a lot of stress going on. There is the gut brain axis. When you are super stressed, maybe you're not sleeping, that can actually disrupt the balance of the bacteria in that gut again. So we do want to actually look at this a whole mind body approach and say, what is going on in my life that could be causing stress or sleep disruptions that could be also damaging my gut health? I have seen people go down the rabbit hole, myself included, on their gut health, only to find out when they finally just relaxed about the whole process and started working on their sleep and their stress levels, all of a sudden the gut started to heal. It wasn't about like how many different probiotics and different protocols can I take. It's literally like, take that deep breath. Let's relax. Let's try to take a step back and find out what is stressing me so much. And a lot of times, for me, it was like I wanted to get things right. I wanted to be doing it perfectly. I wanted to test and find out. And it's like that stress around this healing was actually making things worse. And so that's something I want you to consider when you are working on your little reset this fall is, hey, what my stress could be counterproductive to what I'm trying to heal, and can I heal that stress level first? All right. Moving on to the second step of our our fall reset is calming the fire, the inflammation and oxidative stress. So these are kind of one and the same. Basically, when we are experiencing stress in our body, whether that's physical stress, whether that's mental stress, and then there's also just processes going on in our body that create oxidative stress. It's like a natural byproduct of living. And this turns into inflammation in our body, this oxidative stress. It turns on genes, which turn on these cytokine storms, which start to go and inflame things, which inflammation is good, right? It's how our body starts to like fight back and start to heal things. But when those genes are turned on chronically and we have a chronic level of inflammation going on in our body, that's not good. And that starts to create a nasty cycle, a loop where the inflammation then triggers more oxidative stress, which triggers more inflammation, and it just goes round and round. So we have to find a way to calm that fire, to down regulate those genes and put that fire out. If we don't address it, it will spread, and that chronic inflammation is not good. That's literally at the root of most chronic diseases, right? Um, so oxidative stress, it's like rust in your body. It's coming from poor food, stress, toxins, overtraining. But the best part is you can literally lower your inflammation with food. Simply eating colorful whole foods, eat the rainbow. I always talk about eating the rainbow. If you experience something stressful in your body, stressful work event, stressful physical event, you should think, how much color can I get in my diet today? I am going to try and get the full rainbow. These are called polyphenols. This is like basically all of nature's medicine. So some super ones that you should be trying to get all the time are curcumin, right? That's what's found in turmeric, green tea, berries. Can't go wrong. Those three, if you're getting those in your diet regularly, you are activating your body's own natural antioxidant systems. Those foods, this is what nutrigenomics is all about. This is why I'm obsessed with it, why I coach it, and why I love genetic testing is that you can literally eat foods that turn on your genes that help fight inflammation in your body. So, the other thing that is super, super important here is omega 3s. These are your healthy fats. These are coming from fatty fish like salmon and nuts and seeds like walnuts. Or if you're not a fish person, you can be taking a therapeutic dose of omega 3 fish oils. And I have a lot of different strategies here for people. And this is probably the number one thing I get the best feedback on is once we start getting them on a therapeutic dose of omega 3s, they start to feel better. Their body starts to ache less. They start to recover better from things, and their overall body inflammation goes down. And you won't believe what a difference that makes in things like your sleep, your hormone health, your brain health, and brain fog. Like omega 3s are huge for the brain. The brain is actually composed of DHA. Like 15% of the brain is made up of DHA. So when you are supplementing at these therapeutic doses, all of a sudden your brain fog goes away and you start to feel sharper. This is definitely one of the areas that I love to focus on with clients because they get almost immediate results when you start taking a therapeutic dose. So again, I like to keep tying in my gene testing here because how your gene report helps personalize your anti inflammatory plan, whether that's from exercise, food, or recovery strategies, is so important. And it's so helpful. And it's one of those things that, again, once you know it and you can start to prioritize it in your life, things get better. And it's a root cause approach. So working on this starts to heal things way downstream that you had no idea were related. Your gut health, your mental health, your hormonal health. So this is something that calming inflammation in your body is a long term strategy for longevity that is going to really, really pay off. So it's time to put out the fire with food, with healthy habits, and recovery tailored to your body. All right. So, next step of this 3 step fall reset is walking. Why does walking works? I know it seems so like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be walking however many steps a day, but what have you actually done to commit to this in your life? I am actually walking on a walking treadmill under my desk right now as I record the podcast here. It's super goofy, but I did it. I'm not wearing my weighted vest. I almost put it on, but I was like, okay, Ellie, that's a little too much. You don't need to be wearing your weighted vest while you're walking on your little treadmill. But It is the cheat code that no one is using enough, okay? Why does it work? It works on your blood sugar. It helps to lower your blood sugar. It helps to lower your insulin and actually boosts insulin sensitivity. That. You want your insulin to be sensitive, to be working really effectively at lowering your blood sugar. It helps to boost your mood. It helps to boost digestion, calorie burn. So, how can you commit to adding more walking into your life? So, here are my favorite ways to do it. I mean, it's not that creative, but it's kind of one of those things where I want you to go, okay, I'm going to try this tomorrow. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go for a morning walk. Here's why this is a banger: circadian rhythm boost. If you can get that morning sunlight in your eyes, you are going to help set your circadian rhythms. It's going to help you fall asleep better at night, just get better sleep overall. Banger, awesome, love it. It's a wonderful way to start the day. Getting up before your kids and getting out the door and just moving first thing in the morning is awesome. And it doesn't have to be long, just a 10-minute walk. Walk your dog, go see the sunrise. It's a game changer. All right, next, can you set timers to go off around your house that get you up off your office chair if you're like me, where I get stuck in my office chair a lot, and go for a 10-minute walk around the block, walk your dog, walk with your partner. This is actually how my husband and I spend the most of our time together, is taking little 10-minute walks throughout our day. When our little breaks sync up with one another, I'm like, "Do you have time? Can we go for a quick walk right now?" And we get out and we just walk around the block, and it's just a good moment for us to connect, to do something other than work and talk about our kids. That's end up what we mostly do, is talk about our plans and our kids. And it's great. Can you take your work calls outside on the phone? Can you catch up with a friend and actually, instead of listening to a podcast? I had to make this shift a lot, as I'm always like trying to listen to podcasts. I'm like, I should call my mom right now. I should call a friend. I should call my sister. Um, Build this in and commit to it. Say like, how am I going to add more walking into my day today? Right? Again, I already talked about the walking mat. It's lit. I think it was $160 on Amazon. No setup. It literally arrived in a big box and you just plug it in. And next thing you know, you have this awesome little walking pad. It's also a vibrating pad. My kid discovered that, which it also shocked me the other day because I just turned it on and I thought I was going to start walking. And instead, the whole thing started vibrating and it has all these different like pulsing modes. It's pretty hilarious. I really don't know what the purpose of that is, but I've got it. So, that's fun. Um, Next, you can add the weighted vest. I know I'm not new to this game. This has been around for a while, but I finally got it. No more than 10% of your body weight. I tried a 20-pound one, and that was way too much for me. It hurt my back, it hurt my shoulders, hurt my feet. So now I'm doing a 12-pound one, and it's perfect. It's great. I don't mind wearing it. I actually get bummed when I forget to put it on. Um, a bunch of studies come out because they're so popular that people are trying to like debunk if they're actually healthy for you, which I think is stupid, because anything that gets you motivated or excited to work out and it makes you feel like you're somehow getting extra bonus points because you're like wearing the weighted vest, I think that's great. But the claims that it's boosting bone density, people are trying to debunk. They haven't studied it. They just haven't done like a big long study to prove it. But when you're wearing more weight, you're burning more calories because you're working harder, and that's a win. So if you want to wear your weighted vest, go for it. I like it. I'm doing it. Am I a cliche? 100%, but I don't care. You know what? Again, it's something that gets me out the door and excited to be doing the thing, even if I feel like a total cliche 44-year-old woman walking around her neighborhood with her weighted vest on. Yep, that's me. So again, another little tie-in for the genetic testing here is you're going to find out when you do this if you are built for endurance, or are you built for more power workouts? Do you need more recovery? Maybe walking is ideal for you, or maybe you need a couple power days and a couple walking days. Like the genetic test tells you that. It tells you what you're built for. It tells you how quickly you're going to get a training response from something. Do you need to do it more consistently, or can you do it 2 days a week and max out and be done and spend the rest of your week doing recovery things like walking or yoga, right? I love this. I love being so dialed in and knowing exactly what's right for my body. How many of you have been like, I have to lift weights oh, but wait, I don't want to do a HIIT workout because it's going to raise my cortisol. And oh, now and then all the mess with the cycle syncing too. Like I had so many different thoughts running through my head about like, what is actually right for me? Now I know. Now I know that like, hey, this is how my body's built. This is how I need to recover. And so it's streamlined the way I work out and with less shame and less guilt because I don't think that like watching all these other people do all these other things is what's right for me. I know what's right for me now. Knowledge is power, but the integration of this information is where the transformation lives. A lot of times people get this type of data and they don't know what to do with it. Maybe you get your labs and you're like, I don't know what to do with it. Okay. But you don't need another wellness trend. You need a plan that fits your body, your life, and your DNA. This fall is your reset moment. Before the holidays pull you into chaos mode again, I want to inspire you. My job as your practitioner is to help motivate and inspire you. I love to test because we shouldn't be guessing about this stuff. And when you start with your gene report, you're starting from the absolute root cause, your blueprint that will help you build sustainable habits that support your biology, your unique biology, so that you're not doing something stupid that works against it. So if you are ready to stop guessing and start feeling like yourself again, if you made it all the way to the end of this podcast, I want to gift you with a 20% off code. I'm doing it for fall. Use code FRIENDS at checkout. This is for my one-on-one genetic testing and nutrition coaching package. This includes your 3x4 genetics test. As soon as you hit the go button, that test will be shipped out to you within a couple days. It'll arrive on your doorstep. And all you have to do, it's a cheek swab. You literally, right when you wake up in the morning before you eat or drink anything, you just swab the inside of your cheeks, pop it back in the mail, and the results come in 3 to 4 weeks. But before we get your results, I meet with you. This is where I get to know you. I want to learn all about your diet, your lifestyle, your habits, your symptoms, what you're struggling with, your goals. What do you want to do? How do you want to feel? What isn't working for you and where do you want to go with this? And then I make some initial recommendations. One of the best things that we do is we do a little supplement audit. I go through all of the vitamins you're taking, all the funky products that you bought because some influencer convinced you this was what you needed, right? And we go through them one by one. And I start to see like, is there some nutrient gaps that you're missing? Or maybe there's some redundancies. Maybe you're taking too much of a handful of things. I know that's the case with a lot of different multivitamins, a lot of different things that kind of overlap. So we start to fine tune that. And then when we get your data back, that's where the fun starts to happen. That's where I can really hone in on a couple areas that your body needs the most support. And we can start to prioritize what is most important for you, supplement wise, nutrition wise, lifestyle wise, exercise wise. And all of a sudden, things start to become crystal clear and you have confidence because you're like, this is me. This is my body. It's not meant for anybody else. This is my plan. And it really does help move the needle because when you believe that something is right for you, you don't have any doubt. You can move forward with confidence and momentum. And that's where you get consistency in showing up because you believe in it, because you know this is what's going to work for you. So thank you all for being here today. I hope I've inspired you to do your little fall reset. 3 things you can literally start today. Start working on that gut health. Start working on lowering inflammation in your body and start walking. 3 easy steps you can do today. And if you want help with any of it, you know where to find me. Head out over to mycheatcodenutrition.com. Check out my genetic testing and nutrition coaching and use code FRIENDS for 20% off. As always, I am with you. You got this. Thanks for tuning in to Cheat Code Nutrition. If today's episode sparked some curiosity about what your genes are trying to tell you, grab my free guide, 5 Genes You Should Know to Optimize Your Health. It's linked for you in the show notes. And if you're ready to skip the guesswork and start working with your actual blueprint, check out my genetic nutrition coaching offer, also linked in the show notes. Your next level of health might just be one test away. Until next time, stay curious, stay nourished, and don't forget, your body's not broken. It just speaks a different language. Let's learn to speak it fluently.